revolution in language evolution. Hey, teachers, leave the kids alone until you give them better books. I think many people, and especially writers and authors, might enjoy listening to this podcast. So, here we go. Everyone loves to read a good story or watch it on television or streaming video. Now, I would imagine that many listeners have been watching the TV series Succession. Here's a direct quote about it from a recent article. Succession has been hailed as one of the greatest TV shows of all time. As the final season approaches, we reflect on how a show about terrible people has captivated so many. For all its Emmy Awards and word-of-mouth hype, Succession is still a strange show to recommend. It's basically just a bunch of disgustingly rich adult children fighting over their daddy's money and approval. Every single character is terrible and grows more dislikable scene by scene. Even the luxury settings manage to feel soulless, a corporate, colorless wash over these lifestyles of excess and egregious behavior. But the thing that makes Succession so compelling is not its storyline, which is minimal, but rather its whip-smart writing and detailed character studies. The article titled "The Weaponized Language of Succession" in the May 27, 2023 Wall Street Journal review section says pretty much the same. So there you have it. A timeless recipe for what readers and viewers want. Fascinating characters and clever dialogue. And throughout history, here are some examples of societal and technological advances that have made this kind of writing better and better. The creation of alphabets and writing instruments so ancient civilizations could write down on animal skin, that's vellum, the history and dramatic stories, like the Trojan War. Aristotle's philosophic inquiry into poetry and prose led to Greek drama. Paper and the printing press allowed rapid and widespread access to great ideas. And, much more recently, radio, television, and the Hollywood system for lighting up the silver screen has really revolutionized what we can get across. And now we have the computer revolution leading to streaming media, self-publishing, virtual reality, and online access to most books and movies. And here's the latest, ChatGPT, which can turn text into voice and pictures, and soon into actual videos. ChatGPT is the exponentially growing AI software that is revolutionizing so many aspects of society. You find stories about it in all media just about every day. For example, I came across an article titled, "A Math Coach's Plan to Beat AI, Be More Human." And his plan applies to words as well as numbers. What's the advice? We should focus on the major components that distinguish people from all other living species, namely problem solving, creativity, and emotion. But modern neuroscience and psychology would disagree creativity and problem solving don't make humans special. Only language does that. And in today's networked and fast-paced world, we must use the latest technology to make our language work in a better way when communicating, whether for work or play. I came across an article titled, "Finding the Words That Get Results." Here are some of the points it makes regarding the workplace. 1. Use verbs to empower people to act. 2. Use confidence-building vocabulary. 3. Use concrete examples and ask specific questions. And I read a review of a just published book with a catchy title, here it is, "Like Literally, Dude," which encourages writers and speakers alike to go with the more relaxed grammar used in today's vernacular. The author, Valerie Fridland, who is a sociolinguist, gives examples spanning centuries showing that language must adapt or else perish. And I will end this podcast by discussing why societies will always need to have the great ideas and stories that are passed from one generation to the next, and so on, rewritten in books that use a style that adapts to what people want. And I will do this by reviewing the book by historian and philosopher Crane Brinton. His book is titled "The Shaping of the Modern Mind." I bought my copy at Chicago's Newberry Library Book Fair a couple of years ago. The edition I have came out in 1953, and these facts about it tell us much about how far away that is from today. It is a pocketbook measuring 4.5 by 7.5 inches, and the list price on the cover is 35 cents. It is 278 pages long, and each page is essentially a block of text printed in tiny, tiny mice-type font. There is no white space on the pages, and that would discourage all but the most dedicated reader from trying to decipher what is written. And that's unfortunate because the very first page says this about the book. This book presents challenging ideas, unique in concept. It is a stimulating examination of Western thought, philosophy, and ideas since the Renaissance. Well, I have persevered my way through reading it, and I disagree about the book being stimulating. If you Google for reviews of the book, you will find none, and that should tell us that few people have read it. It's a difficult read because of the style. But I do agree it's a brilliant examination of Western thought because it elucidates in excruciating detail how three concepts, humanism, Protestantism, and rationalism, have led civilization into the modern world we now inhabit. And the last chapter, titled Mid-20th Century, Some Unfinished Business, highlights the existential questions for which mankind might have proceeded so far toward his asymptotic limits that additional progress might require the likes of ChatGPT or a successor. You have to figure out. The author's writing style is perhaps the stuffiest academic conglomeration I've ever read. Too bad he didn't read The Elements of Style, written by Cornell University English professor William Strunk. If you were to read Crane Brinton's book, or put it through a readability index calculator, what would come out would be a number indicating how opaque and difficult his writing is. I won't baffle you with some of the big words, lengthy sentences, and involuted paragraphs in it, but suffice that you would say the writing must be made easier, make the book better, in order for contemporary readers to find it stimulating. I read many books covering the same topics by contemporary authors, and I found that Crane Brinton's book has more breadth and depth than any other. Might it be possible for a modern author to rewrite the shaping of the modern man, to make it better for modern readers and students of today? I'll leave that for another person to try. And the Saturday, June 10th of this year, 2023, Wall Street Journal's review section article titled, "Great Books Can Heal Our Divided Campuses," might agree. The same might apply to many great books written long ago. Well, that will end this podcast. So I will say thank you for listening, and bye-bye until next time.